Hi guys, this is Prateek and welcome to my channel. So in the previous video we have covered like how to install Docker, what is containerization, what is virtualization. So I hope like now you have a running Docker in your system. So today we gonna see like how we can run Docker commands. So let me open the terminal on the Mac. So I have opened the terminal. So after installing the Docker, you need to run this command docker version, and it will give you this information. So the first information is for the client, and it's a like it's a CLI, and another is server. So uh, so client interact with the server in like the same way, and so this server is and client both should be installed in your system so that you know to run the complete functionality of Docker, right? And like if you face any issue in running this command, then either if you are on a Linux machine, then you need to run this command with sudo user, or otherwise like if you are like on a window or Mac, then you need to install it again. So it means like Docker is not installed properly, so you need to install it again. For that, like you can refer my previous videos, so how to install Docker. So if you are getting these client and server both, then that means like you are having a running Docker instance, and it will give you the API version. So the client API version here like it's 1.40 and the server version is 1.40, right? So let me tell you about more about this server. The server is it's kind of a running process. It's run inside the back, it run in the background. So like in window world we call this as a service, and in case of Linux and Mac we call this as a daemon. So it's a kind of service running in a background. Okay, so this is about the Docker version, and let me run some different command like docker info. so, so it will give you a lot of information like, so mainly like what are the running container instances, what are number of containers you have, how many are running, how many paused, and how many in stop state, what all images. So currently I have 13 images right in my system. What is your server version? So all those, you know, the configuration information you are getting from this command. So moving into our third command, which is like if you just want to know what all commands are there in Docker, hit just type docker and press return. So it will give you all the commands. So here you are not getting all the command, like, so you can see like it's showing like some commands and some management commands. So like initially we are having, you know, Docker having a lot of command, and they are building the new command. So those guys basically realize that okay, it will be a lot of commands, so they categorize those command into the management command. So now the new way of running the command is in the management command mode. So for that, like in this tutorial, like I will be following the new way of running the command, like in the form of like, suppose for example, uh, to run the container we say docker run container name, image name, and then you know, for similarly like we say docker container. So this is the way like the new way of running the command docker contain all the container command like docker container start, docker container stop, docker container remove, all those. So this is the new way of running the command. So we'll be following this way of running the command in this tutorial. So okay, much talk about container. So now let's start our first container. So for that, like for the demo purpose, I will be using http apache http server for showing you the running container. So for that we need to issue one command. So we'll say docker container run hyphen hyphen publish. Don't worry about the syntax, I will explain each and everything about this. 8080 httpd and press enter. Okay, so it's saying like unable to find image in locally. So guys, when we basically run the directly run the issue the run command for the container for a given image. So let me explain this. So what we are saying is run the docker container of httpd image, right? And basically when I issue this command, is basically search in the local cache whether in my local image cache, whether I have this image in my local image cache. If it's not there, then it will go to its default repository, which is hub.docker.com, and then it pull it from there. So I didn't find this image in my image cache, then go to the default repository, and from there it find this, right? So and also I have written like hyphen hyphen publish 80 colon 80. So this what it's doing is like I want to I want to redirect all the traffic on my local host at the port number 80 to the process or to the web server, to the server which is running inside the container at port number 80. Okay, so this is what like publish command do. And let us check like whether this server is up or not. Let's go to a browser and I say localhost and press enter. You can see like it works, and in logs it may how many times I press refresh, say so many times, so it will create one row. So but okay, that's fine. So we are having a running instance of our container, but in this way basically we are running the container in the foreground mode. So it's saying like you are running this container in the foreground mode. So if I say, if I by mistake or like if I add like, but before stopping this, let me open another terminal, right? What happened? Okay, let's close it. Okay, so let me close this. So if I do control C, so it shut down this thing. And if I say, so the site cannot be reached, that means the it is stopped. So I want to run this server in the background, not in the foreground. So how can I do that? So for that you need to issue the same command, docker container run hyphen hyphen publish 8080. But before the image name, which is httpd, I need to uh, provide another option called hyphen hyphen detach. So what detach will do, it will run this container in the background mode, and when I press enter, see now like it's returned me the container ID, and now the prompt is there. So if I do docker container, which is another command, you want wish it to list or to see what all docker commands are running, docker running instances of the like container running containers are in my docker instance. So I can see, okay, see it's same ID as this one. So it is running. Okay, so it's running in the background mode. And one more thing, you might have noticed that this is my container ID and there is name. So it's giving some a funny names to the docker, like we have not provided this name like nifty underscore Shirley. So if we don't provide name, then docker, it itself give some random names to the container. And if suppose I want to stop this, let's stop this container, guys. Docker container stop, and copy this container ID and enter. Okay, so let's again check docker container ls. So it says like no container is docker container ls will give me only the running containers. If I want to check what all containers I have used, so I need to give docker container ls hyphen a. See guys, so it is giving me like this container I have used, this container I have used about 4 minutes ago, about a minute ago, right? And their names, which is like random names, and their status are exited, right? So that is for docker container ls hyphen a. So we were talking about how we can assign names to docker container. So there is another option called hyphen hyphen name, and I want to give it as web server. Okay, so I want to give uh, this container some name which is web server, and I want to start this image as a container and press enter. See, so docker container ls, so it gives you the name like web server. Okay, so this way like we can give the name to docker. Now it doesn't use some default names, so we have provided our own name. So there is another command like docker container ps. So this will also show you the container id and all those stuff. So now I want to stop this container. Okay, so I don't need to provide complete container id. I can provide starting few unique letters like A533 and press enter. So docker is such a cool thing, like it will stop this container. And if I do like docker container ps, see that container is not running, right? Now docker container ls, see ls also not give, because ls only provide me the running containers. So if I write hyphen a, it will give me. So I want to delete all these containers. They are not running, but it's just there inside, so I just want to remove all those stuff. So how can I do is I can remove this like rm, just provide some initial unique letters and 0 ee and then 2437 like this. Okay, now see, no exited container there in ls minus a, right? Now I want to run it again, right? I want to show you one thing. Okay, so I have docker container ls, right? It's started with this container id and web server. Each time I run the container from for a given image, it will start it with a new container id, right? So behind the scene it will basically run the container and provide me the container id and then I have provided the name and everything. So it is, so let's see like whether the container is up or not. So we refresh it. See guys, it's working and it's not giving any log there. So I want to check the logs. So let me refresh it multiple times so that we generate some logs. So how can we do that? Docker container logs, and we can provide the name of, so that's why we have given the name, so it will be easy for us to give the use this to see the logs of this. Sometimes like when we are running like some container, some service inside the container as a container, and like we want to check the logs, so it will be very easy for us to trace the logs if we have a name for that. That is for like debugging purpose. So if I press enter, oh, I think there's some misspelling. It's not it's yes, container logs. See guys, it's giving me the logs, right? So this, so again, if I say docker container ls, so this one is running. So if I want to remove this container, can I do that? It's running rm 921. Oops, it gives like you cannot remove a running container. So it's their safety measure that by mistake we should not delete, we could not delete the running instance of a container. So if still we want, we can use a force remove. So for that force remove, there is option called -f, and if I now I press enter, right, see, docker container ls. So I am keep writing wrong spelling of container. Okay, see, it's not running. If we do a docker ps, see, it's not there. And in fact if I write docker ls-a, there is no image. Okay guys, so we have seen like docker different command today for like docker version, docker info, how to start a container from an image. So for demo purpose we have used httpd, apache httpd, and we basically use it as a web server and redirect all the traffic from my local port 80 to the service running inside the container at port number 80. Then we see like how we can run the container in background and foreground, and then like we see how to list the containers, how to remove the container, how to forcefully remove the container, and how we can provide the names to our container. So that's all for today guys. I hope you like this video. If you really like, please share, like it, and do subscribe my channel. Thank you guys. Till then, keep learning, keep sharing. Thank you.